guys, welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I'm Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we are in the brand new 2026 Audi A6, courtesy of Sun Motor Cars in Mechanicsburg, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we're in this one because the A6 has been completely redesigned for the 2026 model year. A new look, obviously, better door seals. There's more power, revisions to the 7-speed dual clutch. You got new foam inserts in the tires. Like everything, even the littlest details have been redone for the 2026 A6. So that's pretty cool. And of course, you get 3 years or 30,000 miles of complimentary maintenance, which is going to save you a little bit of money there if you're interested as well. But ultimately in this video, we will be testing out, going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are a few different trim levels for the 2026 A6. You got the premium starting at $64,100, premium plus, which is the one we were in today, going for $68,000. Then you got the prestige starting at $72,200. But regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant on the A6 is going to be the same. And so the turbocharged 4-cylinder is gone for 2026. Replacing it is a 3-liter turbocharged V6. You got to appreciate that. Putting out 362 horsepower, 6,300 RPM, which is a 27 horsepower bump from the 2025 model year. 406 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 1,700 RPM, which is up 37 pound-feet of torque from last year. Power sent to all 4 wheels through Audi's legendary Quattro all-wheel drive system. Power sent to the ground through a 7-speed dual clutch with paddle shifters, which of course you guys know we will be testing out here in a little bit. 0 to 60 time approximately 4.5 seconds. Top speed, if you're interested, 130 miles per hour, with MPG numbers coming in at 20 in the city, 29 on the highway, taking premium unleaded fuel. But so that before we do any kind of fun paddle shifter or acceleration test here in the A6, I did want to mention to you guys the drive modes. And so that is labeled Drive Select. It's located just in front of that shift lever there, adjusting things like the shift points, throttle response, the steering sensitivity, and actually the suspension settings as well. So now that I've got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the paddle shifters here to the test first, and let's see how quickly these paddle shifters are going to react for us here. There we go. 3, 2, 1, go! Dang, this thing's quick. But also, paddle shifters, lightning quick. Now, the one drawback to the paddle shifters is they are a matte black plastic. Would have loved to have seen Audi kind of upgrade the quality of the paddle shifters a little bit. Maybe put a silver finish to them to match up with the silver finish on the steering wheel, or make them aluminum or magnesium if you really wanted to go all out. But the matte black plastic is probably the lowest quality paddle shifter. However, they do work pretty darn good, I will say that. So I like the paddle shifters. I just wish they were a little more high quality. But anyways, let's now give back full control to the car. I put it in the manual shift mode, which, by the way, there is a full manual shift mode. You just tap the shifter back once, but I'm gonna tap it back one more time. That gives back full control to the A6. Let's find one more straightaway, and let's see how quickly the car can get us here up to speed. All right, do have it in that dynamic driving mode, by the way, but here we go in 3, 2, 1, go. There it is. My goodness. 60. This thing's quick, man. It's dang quick. I absolutely love that. That's plenty of an acceleration to merge you onto any highway here in the US. That's fun, man. It definitely pins you in the back of your seat. Maybe there's a slight bit of turbo lag at the very beginning, but once it really kicks in, man, it sends it. Like, that's a lovely acceleration. I'll just put it that way. But to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 13.3-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 13-inch solid rear discs. As far as braking feel goes, it's okay. It's not actually as firm of a braking feel as I expected there, but I guess they're leaning more on the luxury side of things when it comes to the braking, but it's not as firm as I expected. I'll just put it that way, but it's not bad. It's pretty much, it feels like 60-0, maybe 120 feet, maybe not in the 1 teens, but I don't know, that's just me. I didn't find a 60-0 number on it quite yet, so you can do your own research there, but braking feels fine. Just wouldn't have minded maybe a bit firmer of a braking feel to that one. But then touching on suspension and handling, because this is where the A6 really shines, quite honestly. So independent front and rear suspension, of course, but you also get an adaptive damping suspension coming standard on this one, so you gotta appreciate that. What that does is it monitors each shock absorber individually, not only adjusting to the road imperfections, giving you a smoother ride, but it also tightens up that suspension during heavy cornering, giving you better handling as well. So it really does give you the best of both worlds. But most notably, if I did not have the adaptive damping suspension, the ride quality is typically where you notice that. It's a much firmer ride, so that is definitely going to absorb a lot more of the road imperfections, giving you a much smoother ride because of the adaptive damping suspension. So I'm always a huge fan of that. And by the way, ride quality's been plenty fine in Marshall. A little test drive here today. It's definitely absorbing the road imperfections perfectly fine. So very smooth ride in this thing, but it does get better. So let me elaborate a little bit. Next, I wanted to mention Audi offers a sport tune suspension, and that gives you a 20mm drop, so a little bit lower of a stance there. And that's with the Sport Plus package. It goes for $5,850 if you wanted that. It also gives you a revised torque vectoring rear differential as well. And lastly, if you go with the Prestige trim level, that highest trim level, you also get an adaptive air suspension. So that Prestige obviously is going to give you the very best ride quality when you combine the adaptive damping suspension with the air suspension. That's always what I say. Wow, that is a lot of water there to my left. That's almost flooding. That's madness. That's crazy. If you want the very best ride quality, go with that Prestige trim level is basically what I'm getting at. Not saying that this one has bad ride quality, because this is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm just saying, if you want the very best, usually what I always say is adaptive damping suspension and air suspension. That's what S-Class gives you. That's what all the best ride qualities give you out there. So that's what you're going to want to look for. Then touching on steering feel, I will say it's a little bit looser of a feel in that comfort driving mode. I put it in here. Let me go ahead and just put it in dynamic real quick. So it does give you a much heavier weight to that steering when you put it in that dynamic driving mode, which I personally appreciate, because that instantly points you in the direction that you want to go, giving the driver a little more control there. So I love the steering feel to that dynamic, but if you wanted a looser steering feel, that's what you got the comfort for. So a little bit something for everybody there. Then touching on cabin noise, this is one of the first things I noticed as well. This is a very serene cabin in this thing. So I'll get up to speed here and then I'll be quiet just so you guys can actually hear what it's like, because you do get an acoustic laminated front windshield and acoustic laminated front door glass as well. So it should be a plenty serene cabin. So I'll be quiet here for a second. I'm going 40 miles per hour now. It's super serene, like a little bit of rattling from my camera equipment, but other than that, it's a plenty serene cabin, like super quiet. I absolutely love that. Then touching our rear visibility, there is a massive rear window back there, so 100%, this is probably one of the best visibilities that exists, just because the rear window is so freaking massive. But in addition to that, you also get rain sensing windshield wipers. They do come standard, so whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on those windshield wipers for you. I see I got it set on auto right now. Not that I need them at this particular moment, but in addition to that, there is a head-up display I am currently looking at. If you go with the Premium Plus or Prestige trim levels, and that's going to display your speed limit, and safety features up onto your windshield. Even with polarized sunglasses on right now, I could still see it plenty fine. So that's pretty cool. I like that. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior now of our brand new 2026 Audi A6. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2026 Audi A6. Again, completely redesigned this year. Definitely looks so good in my opinion, but as always, let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the letter W, indicating that the new A6 is built and assembled in Germany, as it should be. But starting up front, you have a new wider and lower positioned Audi single frame front grille. I did want to mention though, there is a black optic package, and that goes for $2,450. It gives you a bunch of gloss black accents like we have with us here today. Black Audi rings up front as well. Otherwise, they're going to be finished in silver. You're gonna really get a revised front fascia completely with that black optic package. And it's kind of like the M Sport package, I guess you could say, for BMW if you were comparing the two. But anyways, I think it looks dang good. A little more aggressive look up front. To the sides, LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. You get the automatic feature with those. You also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams headlights for you there. Also wanted to mention the headlights are slightly different if you go with the Premium Plus or Prestige compared to that Premium trim level. So for the top two trims there, you're going to get Matrix Design LED headlights with digital daytime running lights. And I was playing around with that on the infotainment screen. You can actually change between 7 different looks for the daytime running lights, just different styles. It looks a little bit different. So kind of wild that cars can do that these days. You can make the headlights look different dependent upon your mood or whatever. So that's kind of crazy. But also one of the interesting things about this, we have Glacier White Metallic. It's a $595 paint option. So when I was speccing this car out before it came out to review it, I noticed there was one free paint color for the A6, and that's Arcona White. But all the other paint colors are $595 options, including this Glacier White that we have with us here today. So did want to mention that. But nonetheless, this thing looks, it's such a wide stance up front. It makes it look so dang aggressive. But let me know what you think in the comments. That pretty much rounds out the front end. Let's now go ahead and try to swing around to the side here. All right, so now since we are around to the side of this one, when it comes to those window surrounds, they're either going to be finished in a silver or a gloss black, depending upon the configuration that you go with. We got the gloss black, obviously. Body colored or gloss black side mirrors then as well. Got the flush door handles. They look pretty darn good up there. A little bit of an S-line badging found on the front fenders. Soft closed doors for the Prestige trim level only. That's a feature I think pioneered on the S-Class back in the day. But essentially, if one of your kids maybe closes the door, it gets pretty darn close, but it doesn't close all the way. It's gonna kind of suck it back in for you, so you don't have to close the doors completely. So one of those cool little features, I guess. But then taking a look down at the wheel setup, 19-inch double 5-spoke alloys do come standard for all trim levels across the board. However, there are 19 and 20-inch designs available. We have one of those designs, and I actually like this design. I think it looks pretty darn good there. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. So but now since we are around to the back of this one, I turned on the hazards here for a reason, because I wanted to show you guys the dynamic LED taillights. So kind of looks like it's sliding from one side to the other. I know Audi's been doing that for a while now, but I still think it looks good. But for the Prestige trim level, you actually get digital OLED taillights, so a little bit different there. You got a separate LED light bar. You guys can see that's where the dynamic taillights are actually playing into effect here. And then you got a separate upper taillights as well. I think that's such a cool look, such a unique look, like nothing else that I've seen really. So I do like that. LED license plating lighting back there as well. Again, silver or gloss black Audi rings back there. And then just below it all, another one of my favorite parts in the A6, exposed dual exhaust outlets. So many manufacturers are tucking them away, but they look so dang good exposed with either a brushed silver or kind of a dark chrome finish, which is what we have with us here today. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the A6, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, believe it or not, it's a power trunk for all trim levels across the board. So that's pretty exciting. There is a button on the key fob, of course, and there is actually a button on the trunk itself then as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 13.5 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there's a 40-20-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down quite flat for a good bit of extra space then if you needed it. LED cargo lighting back there in the trunk, you got to appreciate that. There was actually a 12-volt power outlet I found, a little bit of netted storage in the back left-hand corner, and if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, just a little bit of in-floor storage there. So probably put an ice scraper or something like that there. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, that comes in at 37.2 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back seats there. Rear ventilation does come standard. You got dual rear USB charging ports as well. Rear center armrest with cup holders also coming standard. Heated rear seats coming with the Premium Plus and Prestige trim levels. But my favorite part, I actually found rear window sunshades back there too, which is pretty stinking cool. I'm always a big fan of those. But then making our way up to the front seats, leather seating does come standard, of course. There's a black color, a nutmeg brown, and a pearl beige is the base colors that you can go with for the interior. A Napa leather seating coming with that Prestige trim level. Heated and ventilated front seats do come standard for all trim levels across the board. There is a luxury package I wanted to mention that goes for $2,150. That gives you memory settings, a massage function, so massaging seats, and contoured front seats then as well. So overall, when it comes to seat comfort, it was perfectly fine. I definitely am a big fan of the seat comfort here. I didn't have any issues, so plenty on point there. Then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is power adjustable, so very luxurious there. Leather wrap steering wheel coming standard, and a heated steering wheel is going to be available. Let me go ahead and turn that on. That is on the right-hand side of the steering wheel there, and we got it with us here today, so that's pretty exciting. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key here. You got all of your buttons located on one side of the key with your Audi rings at the bottom there. Lock, unlock, and that button to pop the rear trunk there. But it is all keyless entry with a push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just to the left of the drive select button there. And so once started up, when it comes to the gauges, this is an 11.9-inch digital gauge cluster. It looks pretty darn good. In typical Audi fashion, there's a view button on the left-hand side of the steering wheel there, and that adjusts slightly the look of the gauges up there as well. I feel like not as much as it used to, though. Like back in the day, they had so many different looks, and I feel like they kind of done away with a lot of the looks up there. Maybe I'm just not playing around with this thing right, but it still gives you how many miles you have left until you hit empty in that lower left-hand corner there. Outside temperature in the upper left-hand corner, time of the day. Of course, your speedometer is front and center, digital speedometer, tachometer's to the right there. So it does pretty much have everything you want up there. I'm just surprised that it doesn't have like the full map display like it used to, and other different loadouts, but it looks good nonetheless. But now let's go ahead and take a look at overall interior quality here. First thing I want to mention, because this was kind of distracting for me, there's a 10.9-inch passenger display screen available. We don't have it with us here today. So I'm thinking if you had it, it would probably be better possibly, but in lieu of that, what they've replaced that with is this just straight gloss black finish, which is so reflective. It's like a mirror. So whenever you're driving, like let's say through the woods like I was doing there, all of the trees were reflecting off of this, and it was just super distracting. So Audi, I would take away maybe the gloss black finish over there if the person didn't get the screen, and replace that with maybe some kind of a silver design, or you could do a matte wood design. That would look good as well. But the gloss black is too reflective when you're actually driving, to the point where it's kind of distracting. So I wasn't a huge fan of that, but I think it would look dang good if it had the screen up there, but it's optional. An option we don't have, obviously. But aluminum interior accents do come standard. You're gonna get a panoramic glass roof with a variable light control as well, which is pretty cool because it looks kind of frosted right now, but then you can open that up as well. I'm gonna go ahead and hit that little button. That's just like the Nissan Leaf, identical. Just like the Nissan Leaf I reviewed, believe it or not. So it goes in little spurts. You can put it like halfway through, or you can put it all the way through. So here's your recommendation, Audi. Put like the Audi rings up here, like the Leaf did, the Leaf lettering in the moonroof. I think the Audi rings up there would look so stinking cool too. But I love this feature, honestly. It looks so cool. I love the frosted look if you're a vampire, and then if you're not a vampire, you just open it up all the way and you let the light in. So that is pretty stinking cool. Illuminated aluminum door sills also coming standard. I was a big fan of that. Tri-zone climate control coming standard, so driver, passenger, and rear passengers can all set their individual temperatures there. You get an auto dimming rear view mirror with the compass and home light controls to up to 3 different garage doors found in the bottom portion of that rear view mirror there. A gray chestnut natural wood inlays that's going to be found on the doors. That's what should have been replacing this gloss black finish above the passenger side glove box there if you didn't get that screen there. I think that would look dang good, this natural wood inlays here. Dash cam is going to come with the premium plus and prestige trim levels, and ambient lighting also coming standard, so I like that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and set it on purple, and yeah, that's plenty bright, and it just disappeared. Why did it go away? The only thing with the ambient lighting is it doesn't actually stay on for me for whatever reason. It just it comes on and then it goes away. So stay on, ambient lighting, come on. And it's going away again. That is weird. Anyways, just in front of all the shift buttons, you have that wireless phone charger, a couple USB charging ports, and 12-volt power outlet just above that. Just behind all that, you got your dual cup holders. Everything surrounding the cup holders and the shift buttons is going to be finished in a gloss black. A lot of gloss black going on in this car. And then just behind that, within the center armrest, there's not a ton of storage in there, but it should be enough to get by. I love the texturized finishes found on the doors. Was a big fan of that. I love the feel to the door handles. They're going to be finished in silver. And yeah, honestly, I don't mind the interior quality. I think it's just that gloss black chunk right above the passenger side glove box here. It's just a little bit distracting, but other than that, it looks pretty darn good. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen. What you guys are looking at is a 14.5-inch infotainment screen. You get Bluetooth and audio streaming, wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay with that as well. You can adjust your ambient lighting settings up there, which I've been trying to do. Factory navigation system I'm looking at right now as well. I think that's pretty darn cool. And it's basically set up just like a smartphone. It's super responsive as well. So I like everything up there. You can also, of course, adjust your radio information up there. So when it comes to the sound systems, there are 2 of them. 10 speakers does come standard with the premium, and then you get a 20 speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is what it says here just above the speaker there on the door there. 20 speaker Bang & Olufsen 3D sound system for the premium plus and prestige trim levels. So I'm excited for that. Let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Hopefully they got Sirius XM here, and let's test out the clarity of this one. That's plenty fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like 20 speakers in any vehicle is going to be a crystal clear clarity and plenty of bass there. I do not mind that whatsoever. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on that infotainment screen is when you do put the A6 in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. Plenty high definition as well, and you get that top view camera only if you go with the premium plus or prestige trim levels, letting you know what is completely all around you, which is always is going to lead us into safety. And so of course this one is not yet rated by IIHS. It just came out. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. You get a driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard active front assist, lane departure warning, and a bunch of others. Then if you were to go with the premium plus, you get adaptive cruise assist, and then prestige trim level is going to add to that front and rear emergency brake assist and remote park assist plus then as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts, plenty of power with this thing. Let me start by saying that this thing really gets up and goes, especially once you get higher up in the RPMs there, and they crushed it with the design. That's probably the first thing I should have mentioned. Like, the design of this is absolutely stunning, mainly because of the wide and low stance. Audi's got that down on lock. Like, the wide and low stance make any car look so dang good. And that's why this thing looks absolutely amazing. I love the look of the A6. Also pretty darn good 20 speaker sound system, like I just got done testing, so I was a big fan of that as well. As far as room for improvement goes, I don't mind gloss black. I've told you guys that in previous reviews. I have no problem with it. I have no problem keeping it clean either. Like, a lot of people say you can't keep gloss black clean. You can. Just take care of your cars and be careful with it. However, this big chunk of gloss black just above the passenger side glove box is extremely distracting. I would at least change that part if you don't get the screen, and hopefully Audi does, but that's the only thing I would change on the inside. And for whatever reason, the ambient lighting isn't staying on for me, so I don't know what's going on with that. Please let me know in the comments why this ambient lighting isn't staying on. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the A6. This thing looks so dang good. Let me know what you think of the A6 in the comments section below. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media stuff at the bottom of the screen if you wanted to see what's coming next on the channel before it gets to YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what I've been doing for 12 years now on YouTube. I do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.